Section 1.2 is solving multi-step equations. So we are learning to solve multi-step equations. And the number one thing to remember is to solve any multi-step equation, you're going to always use inverse operations to isolate the variable. Okay, this is the most important part. So let's look at example number 1. The height in feet of a tree after x years is expressed as 1 5/10 x plus 15. After how many years is the tree 24 feet tall? So we know that the height of the tree after x years, okay? And that's what we're finding, because they want to know how many years. So ultimately we're solving for x. So if I'm going to take the expression that they give us, which is the height after the tree after a certain number of years, which we don't know, we want to know how many years does it take until it's 24 feet tall. So here is our two-step equation. 1 5/10 x plus 15 equals 24. So again, remember you want to isolate the variable, which is here. So first you need to eliminate the constant, which is a positive 15, by doing the inverse. I'm going to subtract 15 on both sides of the equation. Some students like to draw a line down the equal sign just so they can remember and keep their notes straight and even. And if I minus 15 on the left, I have to minus 15 on the right side of that line. So this eliminates this, positive 15, and I'm left with 1 5/10 x equals what is 24 minus 15, which is 9. And now I'm at a one-step equation. 1 5/10 x equals 9. These two are joined by multiplication, so you're going to do the inverse, which is division. And I'm going to divide both sides by the coefficient, which is 1.5. Let's write that word down, coefficient. The coefficient is the number right next to the variable. I'm going to divide the right side by the coefficient as well. So 1 5/10 x divided by 1 5/10 x, this all cancels to a 1, or simplifies to a 1, and I'm left with 1x equals, what is 9 divided by 1.5, which is 6. And go back to your word problem, we want 6 years. And let's just double check that we did this correct by using substitution. 1 5/10 x plus 15 equals 24. So substitute in your 6 years plus 15 equals 24, and you will indeed get 24 equals 24. And we did it right. Example number 2 is 8x minus 6x minus 25 equals negative 35. So if I just look at the left side of the equation, okay, I have 8x minus 6x minus 25. So you're going to want to combine like terms first. Before you start moving things around and balancing your equation, you want to kind of get it organized. So on the left side, you're going to combine the like terms. 8x minus 6x is 2x minus that 25 equals negative 35. Let's write that down. We combine, like terms. So now I'm at a two-step equation. 2x minus 25 equals negative 35. I'm going to do the inverse to eliminate my constant to both sides of my equation. And I'm left with 2x equals negative 35 plus 25 is negative 10. I'm going to now divide by the coefficient, because these two are joined by multiplication. So the coefficient is 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, 2 divided by 2, this gives me a 1x, or just x, equals negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5. Now let's go back to our original equation and check our work. 8 times negative 5 minus 6 times negative 5 minus 25. We want to know, does that equal their negative 35? So negative 8 times, or I'm sorry, positive 8 times negative 5 is negative 40. Negative, I'm going to change the color, negative 5 times, or negative 6 times negative 5 is a positive 30 minus 25. Does that equal negative 35? Well, this is negative 10 minus 25, which is indeed negative 35. So we did it correct. And let's box our answers so we know exactly what we're looking at. The last example, number 3, is 2 times the quantity of 1 minus 5x plus 4 equals negative 8. So again, if we kind of want to organize the left side of the equation, we got a lot going on here. So we are first going to distribute. We want to eliminate those parentheses. So I'm going to distribute my 2 to just what's inside parentheses. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times negative 5x is negative 10x. And then bring everything else down. Okay. Again, before I start moving things around to balance my equation, I'm going to combine like terms. So that, in this problem, is my second step. Combine like terms. So if I combine the like terms, I have positive 2 and positive 4, which is 6, minus 10x equals negative 8. Now I'm back to a two-step equation. I'm going to get rid of the constant. In this case, it's a negative 6 on both sides of my equation to eliminate it. And then I'm going to bring down my negative 10x equals negative 8 and negative 6 is negative 14. Now I'm going to, these two here are joined by multiplication. So I'm going to do the inverse and divide by the coefficient, which is negative 10, on both sides of the equation. X equals, this simplifies to a 1. Negative 10, or I'm sorry, negative 14 divided by negative 10 is a positive 14 tenths. Now, we tend to freak out when we see fractions that don't divide in evenly, but again, you can leave it as a fraction. You could change it to a decimal if you want. As long as you simplify it, I am okay with that. This would be 7/5, which is the best answer, or you could make it into a decimal, which would be 1 4/10. All of these answers are equivalent. I would stick with this as my solution, but if you want to go into a decimal, that's perfectly fine too. You might want it in decimal mode to go back to do your check. You just substitute it in. 1 minus 5 times 1 4/10 plus 4 equals negative 8. And you will indeed get 1 4/10. Oh my gosh, no, I'm sorry. You will, when you simplify it out, you will get negative 8 equals negative 8, which means that you did your problem correct. So now try the next few problems to try on your own on multi-step equations.